The new one fits in the, I can close the door, it'll fit that way. It's a little bit too tall. I think I might want to cut some of the bottom of the box out and make the box come up over this instead of taking up all the space inside the box that this would take up. Plus then I got to worry about an air intake into the box and an air exhaust out of the box. This might just be the best place for it still.
Hi, we're Andy and Nancy. In 2020, we sold our house, quit our jobs. We bought a 45-foot MCI coach bus with 56 passenger seats inside and set out to turn it into our home. Since then, we've been traveling and working in Colorado. And now we've bought land in Tennessee where we're setting up a homestead. We had a spontaneous window explosion. I heard a rock hit the bus really hard the other day, and I think that was what it was. I think it hit the glass, but then the glass didn't break until like a day or two later, and it was just random at like 6 o'clock in the morning. All of a sudden I heard it crack, and like a huge explosion. I honestly thought a tree fell, and because I ran back to the bus and did not see anything, Andy was not, he didn't even wake him up, and our bed is on the other side of that window. But the only thing that broke is the tinted pane on the outside. The clear pane on the inside is still completely intact, so we got to get that taken care of.
Just behind this wall here is the cat litter box, so I do not want to draw the air from in there. I could technically trim a little bit off this side of the plate and move it to where the holes are perfect, or here, I'll bring you closer so you can see what I'm looking at. This plate is slightly wider, so if you look down through those holes, you can see that the holes below don't quite line up. This off, you see I cut a big hole in the upper steel, and then I drilled holes in the lower steel that are about the right size. But if I just made those a little larger, that won't hurt anything at all. And then this could fit on like that. I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to just mount it right here. Actually, it'd be about right there. That will work. Even this screw misses the door hinge by just barely. I might have to just put a different hole in it, like right here next to that hole. That would work well too. Maybe if I take some of this light away, you can see what I'm doing. Oh yeah, that works better. So if you look straight down, you can see those holes aren't quite lined up because this plate just sits out just a little further. If I move you to the side, they line up, but if I go straight above it, you'll see that they're not quite lined up. But they're close. That new exhaust is bigger. I might need a bigger hole for it anyway. I have these here, if you can see. I had the diesel line run through the middle of this one. Just a rubber hose going through the hole I drilled. I put a zip tie on each side so it can't slide out one way or the other, and then I got the wires run through this one. But being the new one's in a loom, I probably can just run the loom through that hole there and be just fine. I don't know how well this is going to work. Using a hole saw where a hole saw's already been really sucks. This one's missing the bit in the middle anyways. I'm hoping I can hold it steady enough and make a little bigger hole that will cover where it needs to be. If not, I'll grab my angle grinder and just make a square hole on the bottom like I have on the top here. Not extremely pretty, but the holes are bigger and will work now. Probably going to want to hit that with the flap disc and clean it up a little.
So today I am working in the garden. I realized a little too late that I did not have my camera when I was putting cardboard down in this bed and throwing grass on top of it. I'm turning this bed into a perennial garden, mostly an herb garden. I've got my sage moved in and my arnica over there and my little zinnia that popped itself up. I've got some elephant ears planted in that back corner over there that hopefully will pop up soon. And then these are the cosmos that I plucked out of the garden before Andy could till it, that reseeded themselves from last year. And they are looking beautiful. But I realized a little bit too late when I was working on that one that I didn't have my camera out. And I gotta be honest with you, if these YouTube videos actually paid anything, I would probably remember to take my camera out more often and film more stuff. But considering we make like 75 cents a video, but that's what happens when people don't comment on your videos and share your videos or that kind of stuff. So really, our videos have pretty much just become for our friends and our family. Hi Frank, how you doing? Are you gonna hang out over here while I'm in the garden? You got a wood tick on your head, can I grab it? Let me grab it. There we go, you didn't need that on your head. And my whole plan today is that this garden bed needs cardboard and mulch, because otherwise that grass just kind of takes over. So I'm gonna spray this down a little bit and get as much of that grass out of there as I can. I don't know if you can hear me over the neighbor over there. He's mowing the grass. This is all cannas that I got from my girlfriend Gail before we left Minnesota last fall. And I planted 21 of them, and only one, that one right there, has not popped. So hopefully it'll pop. Otherwise, I think 20 out of 21 is pretty dang good. I'm looking forward to having them come back every year and not having to dig them out. I don't think you can see them through all the brush or bushy stuff that's grown up, but that lot got sold to the people who own the business on that end of it just a couple months ago. So they're not planning on building any kind of house. They just wanted to expand their parking area. And I am just spraying down all this grass so it is easier to pull out of the clay. It's a lot easier to pull out when it's wet. And I don't want to wait until tomorrow to do this because it is supposed to rain. Today's Friday. It's supposed to rain Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then like part of Tuesday. Oh, and here comes my sweetest love. Well, hello, my sweetest love. How are you? We're so glad you have Mom in the garden. Cameron loves to garden with me. He loves to be out in the garden with me. Sometimes he rolls in the dirt. Sometimes he just wants to roll in the grass. Sometimes he just wants me to be out here so he can run around and feel safe or something. I don't know. Hey, Silver. How are you? Hi. Yeah. Your tail is full of seeds, kiddo. Your tail is full of seeds. They all three really like me to be outside in the garden, and they just kind of hang out around here and play around here. And these two are finally starting to get along. I say that, I hope they don't start fighting. But Silver always plays a little bit rougher than Frank likes to play. Frank and Cameron have become really good buds. think I might need to water them down just a little bit more. I'm having trouble getting all the roots out.
Probably could have put this together in on the workbench, but it was already out here, so. When I was a mechanic and used impacts every day, I knew how many ugga-duggas it took, but since I don't use them every day anymore, I like to finish with the hand ratchet. And even as a mechanic, there was things I finished with the hand ratchet. A little tighter still. There, now I can't. Oh, I can still barely spin it. That's nice and tight. Here's something I missed with the unboxing. The quality of the hose clamps for the fuel lines. These looks like what you would see on a car, you know, from an OEM manufacturer of a car. The inside is completely smooth, so it won't cut or tear into the rubber hose. There's these rubber hose pieces that connect wherever you need a connection. And I left the fuel filter in there. I've never seen that nice of a fuel filter come with the diesel heater either. I'll show you when I get to that point, and I'll show you one of the fuel filters for the old ones. In fact, I've gotten to where I didn't install the fuel filters on them anymore because I had the fuel filters through the seam would suck air and actually give me problems. I never had the injector plug on me, so yeah, did I have a fuel? I don't think I had one on this vehicle. No, when I installed this last time, I didn't even put a fuel filter on it. This one I'm going to use the fuel filter because it's a high quality fuel filter, but those cheap fuel filters gave me more problems than they ever prevented. And half the times the clamps they give you aren't the same size for the hose they give you. They give you spring clamps on a lot of the cheap ones, but they don't actually spring tight enough to seal. You come to say hi? Want to come up here where the camera is? Yeah, I bet the camera would like to see you. Yeah, the camera would like to say hi to you. You want to say hi to YouTube? You want to go hi YouTubes? Oh, there's my screwdriver I thought was out here. It was out here. Where are you trying to go? I thought you came to see me. Move on. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to step on you. You got enough underneath me. Little trick I learned as a mechanic. Carburetor cleaner makes a really good lube, and then it dries up and disappears. Where if I used any other kind of lube on this hose, I kind of worried. You want to keep lube between the hose and the nipple because it could probably pop off easier that way. But putting air ducts on, and that's what I used all the time for, was putting air ducts on. I would give it a little squirt, slide the air duct on, and just a good little lube that then disappeared. Look at that, just slid all the way on. this hang low enough that I'll just be able to attach the other hose, or do I need to do it now? I guess I know how to find out. Dum. That one is going in, this one isn't, but that one is going into the track. I guess I don't get to close my door. I'm going to pull all the wiring out now for the old one. I should have already done that, and I'm going to pull the fuel pump off for the old one. You don't have to see that, plus it's all underneath the van. You're not going to see much anyway. I'll be back.
This is our compost bin. I don't know if these are cantaloupe or honeydew, but I threw both of them in the compost bin and these just grew like crazy, so I figured I'd leave them. They really like it in there, so we'll see what grows. I gotta get the second one out of the box to finish it, but I got through April 27th.
Okay.
So there's not a whole, I don't think there's a whole lot left on your phone because it's only May 17th.
Yeah, and I ran out of storage space
Yeah.
a couple weeks ago. So.
Yeah, so Frank is under the van, sniffing the cardboard. You're so handsome. You're such a cute boy.
All the wiring is in looms.
That's nice.
Yeah. It's a mile of it too. Which is nice in one way. So you don't need a mile of it and then you have a whatever.
Yeah, but the
I'll find
loom seems to roll up nicely, and
Yeah.
then you're not gonna get a wire caught on something and yank the wire or cut the wire. Or...
So this is the power cable. This is the power and it looks like here. So I don't have, like this one comes with a few inches of ground and maybe a foot or two of power. So you always have to add wire to it. Yeah, this is the power, so. And I didn't take this out because I didn't know if I was going to need it. But this will reach our battery.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Probably have to drill a bigger hole there to fit it, but yeah, it'll reach the battery. This one did not come with a fuel tank, which is the first time I bought a diesel heater that didn't come with a fuel tank.
Yeah.
But it does come with a tube to attach to a fuel tank of the vehicle if you had a diesel vehicle. So like with the bus, we could attach it to the 200 gallon, 222 gallon tank, but put it in this gas tank probably won't work so well.
No, probably not. Probably
But
not.
I got
But
a
we
tank.
have it.
I'll just reuse that tank right there.
Just leave it right on the...
Yeah, I'm going to have to raise it up a couple more inches,
Oh, that's all right.
but that's not a problem.
It worked well on the box
Yeah,
for the other one, so it should work just fine.
because this will be in the way most likely. But I'll worry about that in another hour or two.
And then Frank, or Silver came in and there's some cookies. And then Frank got up. And I didn't hear him jump off the bed, so he must be getting a little bit lighter on his feet. All I heard was next to me all of a sudden. So
They make you put this connector together, which is fine. They just go clip, clip in, but I wonder if polarity makes a difference.
maybe you should look at the book. Does it have directions?
Yeah, they're actually written in English this time too.
Have fun.
I will. Homemade grommet out of there. It's really nice that you have to put this end on because that allows me not to have to drill that big of a hole. I just have to have that big of a hole. Let's just hope that, I didn't read the wiring part of the directions. I skimmed them, but I didn't read them because I knew I was a mile from that point. So when it comes to putting in the controller, some of these controllers I guess have a thermostat built in. Some of them have an external thermostat. Mine came with this, which is a little thermistor, external thermostat. This end of the wires are just two bare wires. According to the directions, it's supposed to plug into this connector. Right here it says temperature sensor. I don't know if it'll focus on that, but it's kind of strange to me. So I don't know if I need this or not, because it says if. Being it came with it, I think it'd have an external, but why wouldn't if it came with the right plug-in on it? Why would it just be two bare wires? And this came in that little white box. There was no plug-in in the box. Not like the fuel pump that comes with the plug-in you put together, which I like that idea because it gives me the ability to drill a smaller hole. But this doesn't have, well, that's down underneath the vehicle now. This doesn't have, you know, ends already crimped on it. No plastic connector to go with it. It'd be easy enough to cut these two wires and just solder them together, and a thermistor like this, a variable resistor that changes resistance with the temperature, isn't a polarity sensitive thing, so I'm not too concerned with having it backwards, but it's kind of strange to me. I don't quite get why it wouldn't come with either the proper connector on it or this just being a pair of bare wires too, and have them, quality control might have missed in this spot. But I guess what surprised me the most is every single component on this is nicer than every other diesel heater I've ever owned. So it'd be weird that this part would be not right. I don't know. I could probably call the company and find out, but it's 5:47 on a Saturday right now. I'm not going to wait till Monday to find out. I think I'm going to try running it without this installed, see if it can see the temperature and see if it even needs this, or is the thermometer built into this one. And if the thermometer is not built into it, then I don't know where I was at when my battery rudely died on me, but I'm just going to install this, pretend like it didn't come with this, see if it works, see if it can tell the temperature from this. And if there's not a temperature sensor in here, then I'll install this temperature sensor. This lovely little mandevilla is not growing much. It's growing that little guy. I don't even know if you can see him amongst all of the alyssum, which seeded itself, and I threw a polka dot plant in there, and I threw some lemon coral in there. I got that geranium from Carolyn. These are all from last year. I didn't realize my chamomile was a perennial down here. My lemon coral from last year. I got that from my friend Gail. Catnip I planted this spring. I got this plant from Andy for Valentine's Day in 2020. And last year it just kind of took off. It's got to move back over there into the shadier area. And that is a mandevilla from last year. I'm hoping it'll vine around the chair that I pulled out of Dale's garbage pit over there after Thomas sold that piece of land. The moss roses I got from Carolyn. I think they could use some food. And the Dracaena could use some food. That's from two years ago. And the sedum here, this rounded leaf stuff, I pinched off of a plant at Walmart and it grew, and I've just been spreading it around. I'm going to go put it out in the garden later. This is a Wandering Jew or Purple Heart that I got from Tony. I took a bunch of cuttings from it, and some of them are inside, some of them are in my booth. And shade cloths, and little chicken tractor waiting for us to get chickens when we get back from Colorado. And that big tall bush by Connor's crashed Prius is my tansy, which I also did not realize was a perennial down here. So it's huge. It was half that height by the end of the summer last year. It's absolutely gorgeous. And chamomile from last year. I've got a lot of chamomile inside. I've been harvesting quite a bit of it. I use it in my skin soothing cream, and it's really good for tea, which I need to send some to the kids because they will drink it. And my potatoes, I don't really have enough height to put more straw in, but they have already flowered, so we'll see how they do. We'll see if we grow any potatoes in this little bed. Oh, and my crimson clover. That's what all those fluffs are. They were crimson clover, and now they've bloomed out. I told Andy he could mow all of that, and it would probably come back beautifully. These are the tomatoes I planted for Carolyn, or at least two of them. They're Better Boy and Big Beef, and they're looking pretty good.
And this is another one I planted for her. I don't know what variety it is, though. Whoops, now I'm looking at it. And a little basil that came up for me. Two of them came up. Hi, Silver. The other one is here. This is my catnip from last year. I had it on that black box over there, but the side got demolished by the weed whip, so I moved them over to here. And I have no idea what the grassy irisae or gladiola piece is. It just came amongst the lilies that are at the back here that I got from Carolyn. This is my cherry tomatoes. Look at how many tomatoes I have on there. And more flowers. And so hopefully some of them, you know, I'll have to tell Carolyn that she can eat whenever they turn bright orange. She can eat them. This is the other one of Carolyn's tomatoes that I planted. I've got a couple marigolds in there. I'm not sure if they're yellow or white or orange, but they're probably going to get fairly large. This is the melon that I took from the compost bin and moved over here, and it's not nearly as big as the melons over there, but I've got some of the catnip from the black box and some alyssum. So, and then these are sweet peas that just grew themselves in my little bin. And I figured I'd send them up the trellis, and they're growing up there pretty nicely, if I may say so myself. Please leave me alone, little bee. I'm not a flower. I'm not a flower. I planted other things in those barrels over there, but they're not growing. So Carolyn's got some yarrow that I'm going to go get and put in this bed along with my rosemary and my lavender and the thyme and the za'atar, and that's my lemon balm over there in my Castiel garden. I did not realize that was a perennial here either. Oh, and there's a butterfly on the cross. Oh, just as I zoom in, it flies away. And you can hear the highway through the trees, but you cannot see it in the summertime. It's just a big old mass of beautiful.
Grab some zip ties and let's get this cable run. Probably gonna want a long zip tie to go around that 2x4. Should go get the part that hooks up to the fuse block and the ground stud. Can't remember how big my ground. Oh, I stepped on a water bottle. Scared the hell out of me. It wouldn't have scared me if it didn't shoot water out, but I didn't know what was happening. None of these eyelets are going to work. I'll be back. Hopefully this one's big enough, because my next size up is for like an alternator. It's just massive. So. Oh yeah, that's the perfect size. Okay. It's designed for a bigger wire than this, so I'll have to strip off a little extra and fold it in half, but that's better than being too small. And even this fuse holder that came with this one, if you look at it, it's weather packed also. It's got the little gasket and the little rubber things inside of there. That's a 20 and that's a 20, so that's... We're going to put the nut. There it is. I should go grab a wrench for this while I have the nut in my hand. 7/16. Is that really the one that's missing? When I said that every piece of this fuel pump was better than any of the other ones I installed, I guess aside from that connector that's missing, but this is the little things that make a difference. Here's the rubber mount that holds the fuel pump, like every rubber mount I ever had, just has the hole in the rubber. This one has got this little brass bushing that comes through, so you don't just squeeze and squeeze and squeeze. You can actually tighten it. Just little differences like that all the way through. It's like they looked at every piece of a diesel heater and thought, how can I make this a little bit better and a little bit better? When I say every piece is better, look at these two fuel filters. This is the fuel filter that's come with every diesel heater I've ever purchased, and this is the one that came with this diesel heater. It's this is a really thin, cheap plastic that just has this little screen mesh inside of it, and I'm sure that screen mesh is all it needs, but the little O-ring here, I find that they don't seal well enough, and they'll pull air in and you'll see air bubbles in your line constantly. This thing is built, it doesn't come apart. Fuel filters aren't supposed to come apart. And yeah, the way it's put together with the O-rings on each side, it just looks like a much more quality fuel filter. And as I keep saying, you know, it seems like every piece is better. I feel like I'm shilling for a product because I got it for free. Yes, I got it for free, but I'm trying to be honest about everything with it. I showed you the connector that was missing. I mean, I'm not trying to just sugarcoat everything. It just, everything is just a little bit better, and I really like that. Where did I have this mounted? I thought I had it mounted on the frame. Oh no, I mounted it there. You're supposed to mount it at an angle, so that's not going to be a good spot for it. Probably going to need to mount it to the frame so I can have it at that angle I want, 15 to 30 degrees or whatever the instructions say. Pressure size rising upwards, installation position of over 15 degrees is required, and installation between 15 and 35 degrees is preferable. Will a self-drilling screw through the side of a frame without a pilot hole? Let's find out. Yeah, that's gonna work. Anything there? Nope. Need it tipped like this or tipped like this? What side should I have the inlet be? I'll put the inlet on this side. Air pump? No, air pump has a bigger line than that, doesn't it? Not that I have an air pump on this thing anymore, but I still have all the garbage for it. That's got to go in before the cat, not after the cat. Exit fuel pump. Would have been easier to do this on the workbench and then screwed it to the frame, but yeah, that's the outlet. That's the right direction? Yeah, that's the outlet. That's the way the arrow's going. I'm working backwards, so I'm confusing myself. I should start from the fuel tank and work my way to the diesel heater, but why did I do it that way? I want the filter before the pump, not after the pump. Dum 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 dum. I saw it coming out fast. The leg was right there. I just, oh, no, I gotta wipe the top. I just realized I'm talking to the camera and you're underneath the van and I'm working up here, so I'm kind of dumb sometimes. Yeah, see? You shouldn't just be able to slide that hose clamp. These things are garbage. Once again, it's on the suction side. I will have to go to O'Reilly's tomorrow and pick up a hose clamp for there. And I'll use a new section of green hose here to hook it up to the fuel tank. Let's bring you back underneath here.
Well, now I'm speeding down I-94, going about 95. Racing those that doubt this is gonna last, and we're flying side by side. I got life's been good on the radio, thank God for that Joe Walsh. 'Cause when I get down, I just turn him up and pick up where I left off.
Celsius, yeah. Okay. If it knows that it's 22 degrees Celsius, which is about the temperature it is out here, it doesn't need that extra thermostat. So that plug-in missing on it is, I don't know, doesn't matter, I guess. Is that a touchscreen? Oh, it's on manual. That's why it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. I wonder how you... Automatic, ventilate, manual, automatic, right there. It's set to 25 and it's 22 and I just heard it click. It says it's on. Up there, here the fan just kicked on. I'll have to read the manual and see if I can adjust it from Celsius to Fahrenheit, but I can just use Celsius too, that's not a problem. Yeah, I really like that screen, multicolor, nice looking screen. And I figured out how to change it from ventilate to manual to automatic, which that was pretty intuitive. So it's gonna have to pump fuel through it. It's not gonna start up in a second here, so first it's got to run the glow plug, get everything going, and then it'll pump the fuel, and then it'll probably shut off because it won't get enough fuel before it starts because it's got to run it through all the lines. So let's see if I can turn it. There, I just turned it up to 28 degrees. See if you can focus on it. Turn the little knob here and it changes. I'll turn it up to 30. I'll roast it out in here. There's a little heat button and a return button, but I'll worry about how those work later, and I'll figure out how to set the time. Let's see how loud this fuel pump is. It's not really a problem with the fuel pump outside, but when the fuel pump's inside, you don't really like to hear that clickety clickety click. There might be a way to prime this too. I've never primed one. I just let it start, shut down, and then just restart it. So I'm not going to prime this one. I did not see how to prime it in the instruction manual. I never hooked up the fuel pump. it ain't gonna clickety click if it's not hooked up. Yeah, if I don't hook up the fuel pump, it ain't gonna work. Let's get this last step done. I don't know what I was thinking.
A few moments later.
There, now my dumb ass has done everything. Let's give this another try. Yeah, part of me wants to cut the wires for the fuel pump and make them shorter, just somewhere in the middle, and then splice them back together. Probably do it inside here so the splice isn't outside. Another part of me just kind of wants to find a spot to zip tie them up in a big loop, but I got about 12 feet of wire I don't need. Well, that's a nice quiet fuel pump. It's pumping fuel. Generally it takes 2 or 3 tries. With an empty fuel filter, probably 3 tries. Oops, it just quit pumping. Alright. No, it is still clicking. Oh, that's a quiet fuel pump. Oh, I'm leaking right here. I know I need to run to the parts store and get a hose clamp for that. That's not a concern. Oh, it is pumping. Wow. Once that fuel pump gets, I've never heard a fuel pump that quiet. We got heat right now. Once it got fuel in it, it quieted down. Maybe it was pumping away at fast. And I just wasn't smart enough to put my hand on it to feel it. I'll let that run for a few minutes, burn anything off the exhaust. Grease and oil from my hands. And I'll shut it down. And we have to trim the bottom of this box so it'll fit. Or I could raise the whole box. That might almost work. Nah, that'll put our head too close to the ceiling. I made that box the height I wanted to sit on. Nice quiet fan. The greatest part is the fuel pump's almost silent. Put my hand on it, I can feel it pumping. I got heat, I know it's pumping, but can't hear the clickety click. I like that. Works, it's quiet, the fuel pump is silent, which I've never heard on a diesel heater before. I know they make fuel pumps that are quieter, but I didn't realize that they were that much quieter. Yeah, I'll let this thing shut down, then I'll come out here, clean up my tools, and I'll deal with the wire management tomorrow. It's getting a little dark out here now. I got the camera turned up so you can't tell, but it's definitely getting a little dark out here.